Hello good people, I'm Jason with Squad Car 37 and today I'm going to show you how to create beautiful vocal harmonies with a piece of software called Melodyne. Let's get started. Melodyne is made by a company called Harmonies, and you can purchase and download it online, and it can be used as a standalone piece of software or in conjunction with your DAW. So today I'm going to take a single vocal passage that's already been tuned, and then we're going to make copies of that, tuning those copies into harmonies that you can play in unison. Just like this. Pretty cool, huh? One of my clients has asked me to make some refinements to a song that he's written and is producing. And in this song, he has one vocal track. So it gives me an opportunity to create some harmonies from that original vocal track using Melodyne. Let's get started. Whoosh. I want to give a shout out to Ryan Weimer. We'll be using vocals from his song Make It Through in this example. Thanks, Ryan. Okay, so the first step is to download Melodyne. You can find Melodyne at celemony.com, and there's a couple different versions of it. I'm running the studio version, and you can buy it right off the website. There are tutorials, great tutorials on Celemony's YouTube page. They'll show you how to install the software as well as how to use it. Okay, so here is our vocal track that we are going to be making harmonies to. So I'm going to create a second track. I'm just going to name it Harmony, and I'm going to load Melodyne on that track. The next step is to find parts of the song that need harmonies. So I've identified two areas that I'd like to add some harmonies, and here's one. We'll make it through. We'll make it through. I'm going to make a copy of this whole track, and then on this copy I'm going to start right at the beginning of that passage, and I'm going to clip it, cut it. Then I'm going to do the same right at the end of that passage, and then just get rid of it so that it's easier to work with. Now I'm creating a loop region over here. I'm going to mute the original vocal. We're going to transfer the audio to Melodyne. And the way you do that is you click this little transfer button, and then make sure that your playhead or your loop region starts before and ends after the section you want to transfer into Melodyne. Then hit the space bar. We'll make it through. And you'll see as it's hearing the audio, it creates these little audio blobs in Melodyne. And so we're going to look at it now within Melodyne. This passage is going to be a little bit easier to tune because it's just a series of C notes. You can see the notes right over here, and they're basically just repeated C notes. Now you're ready to audition harmony notes. The first notes that I try to audition are thirds. They just tend to sound most pleasing in harmonies. If you think of the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do musical scale, which is a major scale, the do, re, mi, the mi is a third of do. So it's basically the third note in that scale. What we're going to do is find the mi in this scale degree. I like to listen to the background music as well so I can get a baseline for what notes will work. This particular song is actually in the key of C, so it makes it a little bit easier for us. If you look over here on the Melodyne grid, you'll see that some of these notes are kind of blacked out like the keys on a keyboard. And if you're in the key of C major, Ionian, you'll only use the white keys. So basically in this example, you can move these notes up just two spaces, two white keys, you'll create the third. So if this is the first, this would be the second, and this would be the third. I've essentially just tuned all those notes to E, which is the major third of C, And let's hear how that sounds while I'm playing the tuned harmony along with the original vocal.
We'll make it through.
So it has a nice pleasing sound to it.
We'll make it through.
Let's listen to it in context of the actual song just to make sure it still sounds good.
We'll make it through. We'll make it through.
All right, I like how that's sounding. So the next step is to bounce the tuned harmony. So by bouncing, I just mean rendering this file into its own audio file. And we do that in Logic by hitting the bounce button. And it's going to create a copy which includes the effect of Melodyne added. So this will be a tuned copy.
We'll make it through.
Okay. Now it sounds a little bit artificial because we raised it so high, but in the context of the original vocal playing along, it sounds pretty good.
We'll make it through.
Let's do the same thing and look at a more complex vocal harmony. Okay, we're going to create another track. We'll load Melodyne on that track. We're going to pull down or create a copy of the vocal that we want to augment with a harmony and move the playhead to the beginning of that passage and hit transfer.
I need you now.
Perfect. Melodyne also listens to the notes that it just heard and it analyzes it to figure out what scale degree those notes are in. And it's saying here that it is in E minor. If you're in C major, E would be minor, so that does make sense. However, we're just going to make it C major so that we're talking the same scale. So the way to do that is click on this little C area here, control click it, and then click C major. And then what we're going to do is really cool. We're going to select all of the notes that have been sung in this passage, which I've previously tuned, so we know that they're pretty well locked in. So then we're going to go up here to options. So in this exercise, we're going to try scale snap. Now this is really cool. So we've selected all the notes. I'm going to grab a C and we're going to think thirds. So I'm going to take this up to the major third, which would be E. And you'll notice as I move this up, it will not allow me to hit any of the notes outside of the C major scale. So for example, D flat and E flat, it'll just skip over and snap to the next note within the scale. See how it snapped? Okay, so this is such a time saver, because it's moved all of the notes to notes that are within the scale of C, but up 2 steps. Let's give this a listen.
I need you now. I need you now.
Really good. So I'm going to solo these two, the harmony and the original in the DAW.
All I know is that I need you. I need you now. I need you now. All I know is that I need you.
Sounds beautiful. Instead of moving each note around and finding the correct pitch, you can select them all, select the scale that you're in, and then move it up to the degree that you'd like, and those intervals snap into place and maintain the scale that you're in. One other thing, Melodyne also has the ability to import in multiple tracks, and you can actually edit multiple vocal tracks or guitar or really any audio in the same editor. There are detailed tutorials on how to do this if you go to Harmonies' YouTube page.
If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or inspiring, do me a kindness, throw me a like or a subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video. Perfect.